Foxes, even the foxes are getting daring now, they get bigger and not even running off, they're staring there looking at you now.
So are you wearing a hat now?
Hard out, I'm going to get myself.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, your description of it was just perfect, I must say. Because apart from the hooting, it was almost like a warning call, because presumably an owl wouldn't hoot to alert its prey, you know, because they've got very silent. So
it was very silent. It was like...
Well, it was hooting, though. But you said it was hooting, though. So why would it hoot?
Yeah, it was hooting, and it sounded like it was right over the other side, and then there was no hooting, and then I carried on, and then I looked, and obviously it's coming down quietly from behind.
I think it was cooing rather than hooting. I think it might have quite liked you. This might be love.
Maybe it's sort of reflection of itself from the bald head.
All right, Richard, all the best, mate. Take care
thanks
of yourself.
very much.
That's Richard Clevedon Smith, owl attack victim in Exeter. Coming up, a fascinating top 5 great archaeological finds in British history after the news and sport, which has gone 12:30.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet. This is BBC 5 Live.
I'm Faye Roscoe with the BBC 5 Live News. The Justice Secretary says the UK would be liberated if people vote to leave the EU. Speaking in London, Michael Gove accused the Remain campaign of conjuring up bogeymen to win votes. People in favour of staying in the Union say his statements don't bear proper scrutiny.
Year we were looking for.
They have arrested a man in his 30s on suspicion of murdering a 6-year-old boy in Peterborough.
decided to come here is because I knew that it's a massive club, and you can see the fans, 40,000 or 50,000 the other day, they're still supporting the team, so it could be a great achievement. But I say also that it's easier for me if I speech you are winning, not the same speech after losing. So I think that now everybody will have this belief, and hopefully we can see these things on the pitch.
All the build-up from St James's Park and full match commentary and 5 Live Sport from 7. Alan Shearer is your summariser tonight, and Everton team news reaching us. Roberto Martinez has confirmed that Seamus Coleman, Phil Jagielka are out of the Merseyside derby. Tom Cleverley, Nathan Baines and Aaron Lennon are very close to full fitness. Now, 2 former champions have struggled in the morning session at the World Snooker Championship. George Riley has an eye on both Mark Selby and Neil Robertson's matches. The news too, George, of Ronnie O'Sullivan escaping a fine.
Yes, it's a formal warning for O'Sullivan for his refusal to fulfil his media obligations after beating Dave Gilbert in round 1. A short statement from World Snooker says Ronnie has escaped a fine because it's his first breach of contract this season, adding that any further breaches will result in a fine. So that's that. As for the snooker, Neil Robertson winning here 6 years ago, he was 3-0 down to Michael Holt, the qualifier, with a tournament top record 140. That's now 3-2. Robertson with a century of his own to fall within a frame. And Selby, having seen his 7-2 lead reduced to 7-6 against Rob Milkins, he's won the next 2, so he's a frame away from victory at 9-6.
Things starting to improve then for both the former champions. Hampshire captain James Vince has helped Hampshire continue the fight back against defending county champions Yorkshire this morning. Kevin Howells is watching at Headingley.
He's now out though, just gone for 119. Hampshire's follow-on target a massive 444. It took 80 minutes this morning for Yorkshire to prize that wicket at 25-year-old Vince. LBW to Steve Patterson, the ball nipped back. Context of the game, a very important knock. Hampshire suffered a dreadful day yesterday. It's the sort of innings which will resonate with England as they move closer to giving this skillful batsman a test debut. One imagines sooner rather than later. Irvine and Waiter carrying the crease. Hampshire 210 for 6. Elsewhere is century for Jonathan Trottle of Warwickshire, now wearing the new ECB regulation helmet. Warwickshire 211 for 6. They trail Middlesex and Lords by 241 runs.
Yorkshire from Headingley on 5 Live Sports Extra. A reminder, all county championship matches as well can be listened to via the BBC Sport website and the app.
This is BBC 5 Live on digital, online, smartphone and tablet.
A quick look at the road. Stationary traffic still in Edinburgh. The A7 from the Edinburgh City bypass eastbound, that's shut between the M8 at Junction 1 and the B701. It's for recovery work after an earlier accident. Police are still there directing traffic. And in Bridgend, a lane of the M4 eastbound is blocked by an overturned ambulance. That's between junctions 35 and 34 at Miskin. Traffic very slow there. Faye Roscoe, 5 Live Travel.
Formula 1 on 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra.
The Chinese Grand Prix.
Miserable race of Lewis Hamilton leading an early watch as they go rock.
And click on podcast.
Across the UK,
This is BBC 5 Live.
5 Live Daily with Adrian Child.
And between now and 1 o'clock, we're going to celebrate the magic of stories like this.
They dug a trench about 18 inches down. They hit this hard, flat surface. Cry went up, and we brushed the mud away from this cold, hard surface. And there was this beautiful mosaic with brilliant colours, blue, white, terracotta. And the field is a little paddock which joins on to where this trench had been dug. And it had all these undulations in it. And you would swear there was buildings in there, but you would think, they might have been Victorian farm buildings or even medieval buildings. But as soon as you find a mosaic, you know that this is Roman.
That's what happened with Luke Irwin, owner of a farm in Wiltshire just recently, in digging a trench to lay cables to get some electricity to a barn, came across a Roman villa underneath the property. So for our Tuesday Top 5, we're looking at 5 of the most remarkable archaeological finds in the UK. Corenza Lewis is with us, but from Time Team, an archaeologist, professor at Lincoln University. Corenza, thanks very much for being with us for this. Can I ask you an idiotic question to start with? Well, how does it end up buried in the first place? I mean, does it, at some stage, is somebody in sort of 950 AD thought, I'm just going to knock this down and build over it? I mean, how does that happen?
Well, they might have thought that, yeah. It's not an idiotic question at all. Everyone always asks that. And it's always when people say it's an idiotic question, it's always a really good one. But either people build over it, knock it down and build over it, or it's just a natural process. If you've ever left a pile of leaves in the corner of the garden over the winter and you come back in the spring, they're on a hard surface that have rotted down and created the soil. You do that year after year after year. If a site's not being used, the soil builds up, grass grows on it, rots down, more soil builds up. And it's amazing how things just do get buried.
With your archaeological head on, would you find this surprising? Or, I mean, are there countless Roman villas lurking beneath the soil of Wiltshire?
Well, I think there are probably still a fair few to be discovered. Yeah, I mean, villas cover quite a range of different sort of status of building, if you like. So at the bottom end of the status, they're just sort of like a manor house or even a posh farmhouse. But at the top end of the range, they're your kind of stately home palace. So there were lots and lots of them in the Roman period. It's quite possible there's one in virtually every parish in somewhere like Wiltshire. But the one that turned up at Brixton Devil does look pretty special.
What's the most thrilling moment you've had in your sort of trowel-wielding career?